Welcome back to JB Reviews. I did a video back in 2019 on a very similar truck to this one, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the footage in that video. Now, for 2023, this truck is essentially the same, and the only real differences are the mirrors on this one. But payload has gone down, and the price has gone up significantly. And I don't know why. Like, I know that inflation is a factor, but yeah, I don't really truly understand why this truck is so much more expensive, especially in this trim level. So special shout out to Larry H. Miller. As you would expect, this truck is already sold, so yeah, you have to order these trucks today. Like, if you want a dually, you're gonna have to order it. So let's go ahead and do a quick walk around, and let's take a look at the window sticker. Then I'm going to show you guys the 2019 as well. So here's the spec of this truck listed up top here, and take note of the base price of this Ram 3500. Now, this does not include dually or engine options, so just keep that in mind. Here's a short listing of your standard equipment, and then starting off the options is fifth wheel prep package, and then chrome appearance, and here's everything that's going to be included in that package. And then Tradesman level 2 is $1,880, and here's what's provided in that package. All weather floor mats. This does have max tow, and obviously the Cummins high output options could be the most expensive one. And they did add the 115 volt auxiliary front power outlet. I did not know that was an option, by the way. And it does have that 400 watt inverter. And then here's a few other things. One thing that you have to notice, the 50-gallon fuel tank. If you are ordering a truck, it's just a good idea to add this if you're getting a long bed. Dual rear wheels is $14.95, and then pretty much everything else here, and then destination at $18.95, with a total price of $74,850. $75,000. Holy smokes, that is a lot of money. Starting price, and that's not with the dually configuration, is 53 grand. Actually, a little bit more than 53 grand. And I hope you guys are getting my drift here. Now let's take a look at this 2019. Now, so before we get started, that truck I think has more options than this one does. Now, at that time, the 50-gallon fuel tank was not available, and a few other things. But for the most part, these trucks are identical. Like, Ram did not do anything groundbreaking on the Tradesman, guys, to make the price go up this much. So let's take a quick peek at it. Hopefully you guys can see the options here. I'm just going to show it to you real quickly, and then let's just go ahead and take a look at some of the pricing. Now, I know people have been saying that I've been picking on Ram, and now that I have a GM, I'm a fanboy. Listen, I'm only pointing out the obvious stuff here, guys. GM redesigned their truck back in 2020. Cab, bed, new engines, new transmission. They went hard. And for 2024, they refreshed their truck. In 2019, all Ram did was just change the front clip, the interior, and they essentially kept the same cab configuration and bed configuration with slight updates. Now, Ford is basically doing the exact same thing for 2023, and they're calling it a redesign. But they basically have done the same thing that Ram's done, which is change the front clip, same cabs, same beds, and just slight enhancements on those things that I just mentioned. But as I said, guys, I think that 60 grand versus 75,000 is insanity. And the reason why they're doing this is because they can. Like, this truck, you know, with inflation should be like 68 grand, if not maybe a little bit lower than that. I think that's about what this truck is worth, because there's nothing different about it except for the mirrors, and those are controversial too. But let's go ahead and quickly go through this truck. You know, this one does have the chrome front end because it was optioned with that. And I do think that if you're getting this Tradesman, it does look good with the chrome. And I think I would probably do the same thing. This one does have the tow hooks down below. There are no parking sensors, things like that. Halogen headlights. You can get fog lights on this truck from the factory. And then off to the side, they're still using Nexen tires. I'm not going to say that these tires are bad, because I've never owned these tires before. But based off of other guys who've had these trucks in the comment section, most people flip these off as soon as they get this truck. But 235, 80, 17. Of course, this is an LT tire. And then the capacities are right here. 3,085 pounds at 80 PSI and 2,835 pounds if you're doing a dual setup. Here's that suspension. And then here are the new mirrors. So obviously, because this is a base model truck, these are going to be manually operated, so you have to push them out and push them in with your hand. You still get the convex heated mirrors, and then you have the black door handle, and here's some of the badging too. But yeah, not much is different with this truck. Clearance lights are standard on the dually, or they come with the dually, I should say. And then this one does have that 50-gallon fuel tank too. LED lights on the side of the bed here. And this one does have a beefy suspension out back. Now, if you get the air suspension, you do lose like 3 leaves or maybe 4 leaves in this setup here. But this does have 2 overload leaf springs there, and then you have an additional leaf here. And then check out that frame. You're gonna have incandescent bulbs in the tail lights, so there's no LEDs back here except for the license plate lights. Those are gonna be LED. Class 5 receiving hitch. And this big boy still has a backup camera. Now, you're not gonna have an assisted bed, and I think you have to move up to a bighorn to get that. You have your 7 and 4 pin, and you have a cargo plug there. 5th wheel prep package. No camera for the rear, but you can get one for the bed. You also have a 4 and 7 pin back here too. You can get this truck pretty loaded with a lot of features, with the exception of leather. You cannot get leather on the Tradesman. You can't even get that on the Bighorn. You have to move it to a Laramie to get leather, but for the most part, you can get just about everything else. So let's go ahead and pop the hood and talk about this Cummins. Now, no matter what I say about Ram, this is why the Ram is really the best truck on the market in the HD segment. This Cummins diesel is one of the best of the best. And I know that there have been some noise out there saying that they've had some issues with some of these engines, but I don't care. Like, I expect some cars to have problems. I know PD Diesel has been mentioning that. Some people in my comment section have been mentioning it, but all of the cars in the world are going to have some issues at some point. But with that being said, this did get a 20 horsepower bump and a 75 pound-feet of torque bump from 2019. Now, I don't think they've done anything mechanically different between the two, with the exception of changing the fuel pump. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it from here. It's way down in there, right? It's like right there. But they did go from a CP4 to a CP3 on this truck, and that's one reason why I would buy this truck over a 2019. So even if you find a 2019 with a better deal, I think this is a better option because of the updates that they've done. So obviously, again, people have said that there have been some minor issues with these trucks, but I do know that that's probably not widespread. And the recall that they did on this engine, I think, was just for the standard output Cummins. But this does have the 6-speed Aizen, which is a very reliable transmission, and it is made in Japan by a company owned by Toyota. And this is probably, again, like I said, one of the best diesel options. I don't care that Ford is faster. Ford makes a phenomenal diesel too, but their diesel does not compete with this one. It just doesn't. And you can talk to anyone. Don't take my word for it. Go to truck stops. Talk to guys that do hot shot. Talk to guys that have Fords. Talk to guys that have Rams. I promise you, a lot of those guys will say this is what they would 100% go with. But 1,075 pound-feet of torque, 420 horsepower. Great setup here. This one does have the 410, so this is considered max tow. And like I said, this is one of the best diesel options on the market today. Now, despite this being a lower trim level, this is still a great interior. And even though it's all plain and hard plastic literally everywhere, there's no soft touch, nothing on this door card. You still get power windows, power door locks, power mirrors, and you can power the convex. You can buy a $100,000 Ford limited trim HD and you won't get that. Of course, the manual seat option is kind of sucky, but you know, hey, it is what it is. If you need a truck to work, this is the one you're gonna use. Now you do have the standard screen here, but it does give you a lot of great information. And then they did update the controls on the steering wheel. And this is just a hard vinyl steering wheel. Yeah, there's a lot of hard plastic in this truck. So this is the base of the base, and it's $75,000. I almost wonder if they should just give it to you with all soft touch with the 8.4 standard, just because of the price point. But hey, that's just me being me. Push button start comes standard. I think this is what, the 4-inch display, I can't remember, it's small. And you just have your standard HVAC controls. Auxiliary switches are down here. Tow haul mode and exhaust brake. I love the fact that Ram does still give you like a ton of USB. So you have 4 Type A and Type C down there. You have a power plug down below too. And something I do miss about my Ram is this power plug. I do like that they give that to you up top. The sun visors are going to be pretty base, so there's no vanity. You're going to have incandescent bulbs inside. I like the fact that they still give you a sunglass holder. And you can't slide that rear glass. Now they do give you a vanity for this side. No lights, but hey, they still give you vanity. Open storage. Now when you step up to a Bighorn and to a Laramie, they do cover that for you. And because this is a 6-passenger, oh, on this one, this does not open. However, you do have storage in here with a USB right there. 3 cup holders. And this is leather wrapped or vinyl. And the seats are nice too. I think that these seats are an upgrade because I think vinyl comes standard. But I do like these cloth seats, have a great appearance to them. Let's hop over to the side. Nothing special, like I said. Manual seat and decent space over here for your legs. This is a small cab, and I probably would never buy a crew cab Ram. I'd only get a mega cab. And you do lose 60-40 bench out back too when you get these lower trim levels. But you do pick up the storage on this side because there's no subwoofer. Cup holders below, air vents down below there, and they do provide lights back here. They're incandescent bulbs still, and then you have spots up top there to hang things. And there's a little bit of storage out back. The only issue with this truck is if you want to sleep in your truck, if you do like hot shot, this would be kind of small personally. And here's just a better look at these seats out back. And let's take a look at the payload and all the other numbers for this truck. You're gonna have a gross ax weight rating out front at 6,000 pounds. The rear is gonna be 9,750 pounds, which is the same as the 2019, 14,000 pound GVWR. Now the payload is lower. It's at 5,326 pounds. And that could be because of the 50-gallon fuel tank, now that I think about it. So essentially, if this truck did not have that, I think that these trucks would probably be the same weight, because like I told you guys, there's not much difference between the two builds except some of the enhancements that they've done, you know, over the years. But hope you guys liked the video. Special shout out to Larry H. Miller, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah. Be sure to let them know you saw the video if you decide you want to buy. And I'll see you guys soon.